I'm Judy Zeidler and welcome to Judy's Kitchen. My favorite holiday is Hanukkah. I love frying potato latkes in olive oil. It symbolizes the holiday for me. So get your pencils and papers out, but don't worry if you miss anything because you can see the recipe on the website. So let's get started. First of all, grating potatoes by hand like our grandmothers used to do is a part of the past. So I'm going to show you how I make potato latkes, my special modern technique using the food processor. First, in my food processor, I have a half an onion. I'm making a small recipe. I'm making 1 potato to 1 egg recipe. So I have a half an onion, and I'm going to turn on the food processor. It has a knife blade, and I'm just going to dice this. So now I'm going to take the top off, and I'm going to replace it, the knife blade, with the grater blade. And I'm going to put the top back on. Now let me talk about the potato for a moment. I find the starchier the potato, the crisper the potato latkes. So I always use the russet potato. Now I have a potato peeled, and I have it submerged in lemon water, and it's been there for about 30 minutes, so you can see how nice and white it is. So I'm going to take that potato and put it into my food processor with the grater blade and just turn that on. Now see how fast that is? Now at this point, this whole mixture goes into a bowl. And I'm going to put in 1 egg. So my recipe is really based on 1 egg to 1 potato. I find that the more egg that you put in, the thinner the latkes are going to be, and we really like them very, very thin. Now I'm going to put a tablespoon of olive oil, and the olive oil keeps the latkes from sticking to the pan when you're frying them. And 2 tablespoons of flour. Actually, this is a wonderful recipe that you can use even for Passover, and if you don't use flour, you can use matzah meal. And a teaspoon, or just a sprinkling of salt to taste, and some pepper. And you just mix that until it's really, really nice and blended. Okay, now that's our potato latke mixture. And if you're going to keep it for a little bit, you can be sure and put it, cover it with plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator. But we're going to use ours right away. So don't go away. I'm going to clean up and we're going to fry latkes, and I'm going to show you the delicious toppings that I put on them. Welcome back. We're going to fry our latkes now. Be sure and and it's always better, I don't know if you have an electric stove, but I think gas is really, really the perfect thing for frying latkes. Now what I'm doing is I'm putting it in and then pushing it down because we like ours really, really thin. And you see that egg really made it nice and loose enough to push it down and get really, really crispy latkes. And while these fry, I'm going to show you a latke that I've already fried. And you can make them as large as you want. In fact, I have one right here that I fried, and I'm going to use that like I would a pizza. I'm going to put some salmon, smoked salmon on it with some salmon roe, salmon caviar. So we're going to, now the main thing is waiting until these latkes, you never want to turn them twice, waiting until they're totally brown around the edges. It takes a few minutes, and what I do is when I'm making a lot of latkes and I have like 22 of our family for dinner, I will have 3 frying pans, large frying pans going at the same time. And when you're finished with one, you just automatically take them off of the others. So we're just going to let these fry. Just make sure they're not sticking. And it was important that the olive oil is very, very hot. While these are frying, let me tell you about my toppings. Now the traditional topping that we have always had with our family, especially when our kids were growing up, is sour cream and sugar. And the next traditional one is applesauce, But our newest is chopped olives. This comes from my travels in Italy. In fact, I put chopped olives sometime on my large pizza latke. Oh, now look at these. They're getting really, really nice. You can just tell. I'm sure they're going to be golden brown on the other side. There you go. So we're going to get them nice and brown on the other side. The frying pan is non-stick. It is Teflon, and it really does help. The two things that really help is not to put your latkes in the oil until it's really, really hot, and also using a Teflon pan. Let me go back to our salmon. In fact, what I'm going to do is put some salmon on this latke while it's in the frying pan. And then some of our salmon roe. And then I'm going to cut it later with the pizza cutter. There's that. Doesn't that look wonderful? And you can get 4 slices or 6. Now these are all done. And what I'm going to do is transfer them to a paper towel lined plate. Now, if you're making enough for a big crowd and you want to keep the latkes warm and you want to just keep making them, what I do is I transfer them to a baking sheet with a paper lined, and then I put this in the oven on a very, very low fire just to keep them warm. So that's it. Now, I've made some ahead of time, and I'm going to show you how they look with all the toppings on them. The applesauce, the salmon caviar, our sour cream with sugar, olive paste, chopped olives, more caviar, some sour cream, and this is the salmon with the caviar. And what I'm going to show you now is our pizza latke. I'm going to cut this just like I do my pizza with the topping on, and cut it in quarters. And then I'm going to put it on a separate plate. Now, doesn't that look good? We serve that just like I do my pizzas. That's it for now. Have a happy, healthy Hanukkah with your family and friends. And I hope to see you again on Judy's Kitchen on JLTV.